Jumoke Afolari, and I'm your host for today's webinar. Not just a co-facilitator, I happen to be the founder. I have the privilege to steward the vision of Empower Her, and I'm so excited, so elated to have you join me this beautiful day. If you're joining on YouTube, I would love to get your feedback. I'd like to see your responses. Please drop a message in there. I'd love to hear from you. Let me know where you're connecting from. Let me know your expectation for joining this webinar today. And if you're joining on Zoom as well, please do likewise. I'd really love to engage with you. Really love to hear from you. And as you're doing that, please invite someone. Over the course of the campaign for this webinar, a number of persons reached out to say, hey, is this only for women or can men also participate? Yes, please, because in empowering women, we believe that we must also ensure that men are a part of that journey, a part of that agenda, and a part of that movement. So please share the link everywhere that you can invite someone, tell someone to tell another person, on your WhatsApp, on your Instagram story, on any platform where you know people would see this and love to be a part of the conversation. From YouTube, I have Agnes saying, excited to be here all the way from Kano. Hello, Agnes. Thank you for joining all the way from Kano. So excited to have you. I'd love to hear and to read from a number of us as well. It promises to be a truly impactful conversation, and I cannot wait to share with you. And if you've seen the promotional and the publicity materials, I won't be doing this alone, right? I will be joined by amazing power women who will be sharing from their wealth of experience, their wealth of knowledge, and I cannot wait to have them join in on the conversation. So, still looking out to read from you. Hi, Lillian. Happy to be here from Lagos. How is Lagos, Lillian? Thank you for joining. Hope you have also shared this link with your loved ones. Hope you've shared this link with your friends, your sisters, and every woman who you know you would love to see truly empowered and to rise above every form of limitation and become the true become the highest versions of themselves. That's what this webinar is about. I mentioned three things, right? I shared with the community three things you should grab for today's webinar. Grab a glass of water, anything to keep you refreshed. If it's a glass of juice, or your go-to is coffee, you can grab that. Come with your notepad and a pen, and come with a mind ready to learn and a heart ready to execute, because transformation begins with intention. And so please settle it at the back of your mind that this is not going to be a webinar where you just listen, and you are not ready to put the words to practice. This is a webinar where you don't want it to be any kind of meeting. I'm sure we've had series of meetings again and again and again. You've attended a number of conferences. You've joined a lot of master classes. What will make this one different is that you choose to put to work everything that you're going to be learning. And I want you to make that commitment right now. Commit to the process, commit to execution, and that's what is going to make it truly transformational for you. So welcome once again. Today, we're looking at strategy, visibility, and sustainable impact. And I'd love to tell you a little bit about myself, right? I would like you to get to meet me. I'd like you to get to know me a little bit more if you do not already know me. So, about me, right? I'm an administrator, a women's empowerment advocate, and I have a passion to see women truly elevated beyond their environment and beyond the scope of what they believe to be accessible. I have a passion for empowering women, and this passion has been a lifelong one, right? And I'll say alongside my skill or my gift as an administrator, I have also been an administrator for well over a decade, and administration has been you know, a lifelong passion that I've always had. Um, I also have the privilege to steward the vision at Empower Her. And at Empower Her, we are a community of women with access to global opportunities and resources to scale our influence. And if you love to join Empower Her, that avenue would also be, open to us. That opportunity will be open to us in the midst of this webinar at the end. And I'll share it with you how you should join, how you can join Empower Her at the end of this webinar. So you want to stay till the very end. Don't leave at the middle. Don't sleep off. Make sure you are in a posture as though you are in class, because you are actually in class, and stay till the end. I have amazing things for you at the end of this webinar that you do not want to miss, right? I have a passion for leadership, nation building, and transformative education and leadership. One of the things that you would find me living or teaching all day is transformative leadership. And why transformative leadership? Because everything rises and falls on leadership. Nation building, the strength of a community, the capacity of an organization, everything rises and falls on leadership. And that's what you always find me doing, living, breathing, teaching any day at any time. My core expertise spans across project management, administration, organizational strategy, grant writing, capacity building, and I have a driven vision to empower women, African women. And I'm so excited to be sharing with you this evening. Before the other facilitators join in, I will, just be doing a bit of introduction, sort of like laying the foundation for what we're going to be learning this evening. So if you're ready for me, I want to see you drop it in the comments. Again, I want to read from you and I want to hear you share with me. Just let me know by typing, I am ready. So I want to see us all actively typing, I am ready, I am ready, I am ready. And I want to see it with so much energy. If you're joining via YouTube, I want to read from you. I want to see your comment. If you are on Zoom, let me know. Let me know if you're on Zoom. I'd really love to connect with you, right? Cannot wait to connect with you. So please do well to give me your responses, right? I do hope that you have actually shared the link. You can reshare it again. This is a very good time to share with your loved ones that we're just about to start. And it's a very good place for you to connect, to have everybody that you love connect to the webinar this evening. Okay. Thank you, Star Queen. Thank you, Agnes. So good to see you. Love the energy on YouTube. Let me take comments and do honorable mentions from Zoom as well. Okay. Amazing Joy, Modupe, Joy Samuel, Adewumi, Busayo, Funaya. So excited to see you all. Busayo, so excited to see you. I love the energy. Thank you so much. Oh, I have my big sister here with me in the Zoom meeting. So good to see you, Auntie Sarah. Thank you all for connecting. Promises to be a great time together. So we're getting right into the conversation for this evening. And the topic that I'm going to be addressing is the power of grit, right? Because I love to have interactive classes, when I would love to always take feedback and responses from us. So please share with me, what does grit mean to you? Right? What does grit mean to you? What do you think grit is? I want to take responses, get our feedback, read from us. One of the things about grit that I have learned in my journey, not just as a leader, but as someone who has made a lifelong commitment to have exponential growth, is that there is no high impact value without grit. You can't do anything sustainable without grit. And remember, tonight we're looking at sustainable impact. Behind everything that we're looking at this evening, you'd wonder why we have assessing global opportunities and having sustainable impact. Stella is going to be sharing with us about how to achieve how to become a high achieving high achievement for power women. And I'm talking about grit in creating sustainable impact, right? Grit is an element that is so pivotal in you reaching the highest version of yourself. And I have an acronym that each letter, in that word represents. So the G stands for growth oriented mindset. The R is results, I is inspiration, and T is time. What is a growth oriented mindset? A growth oriented mindset is the belief that your abilities, your intelligence, your skills can be developed through dedication, continuous learning, and effort. A growth oriented mindset is what makes you see a challenge, an eminent difficulty, an obstacle that seems not to go away, a mountain that might be too high to climb. Sees all of this as an opportunity for growth. And so I'm going to be sharing a lot of my personal experiences in the midst of this conversation this evening. And for growth-oriented mindset, a very practical case study that I have, one that I have seen as a leverage, because if we're saying growth-oriented mindset and we're defining it as what makes you see obstacles as a stepping stone, it means that whatever happens to you, there's no room to define, or rather, there's no room for you to see a challenge as a full stop or as a bus stop. You have no, when you think growth oriented mindset, you have no room to think of it as a limitation, or you see failure as the end. You now have the power to redefine what failure in quotes might be termed as. And so in my journey, I have had obstacles that I had to sit down and decide that they were not going to define me. I had a very, very tough academic challenge. And I'm saying tough where if you are in this part of the world, in Nigeria, and you happen to have gone through the higher institution phase of schooling in this part of the world, some systems might actually be frustrating. While this is not the experience of everybody, my own journey was different. And I faced a very, very tough academic challenge that almost changed the trajectory of my life. But one of the things that helped me define this accurately was that this was going to be a stepping stone for me to actually unveil another version of myself. Now, if you have ever failed an examination, you would sit down. If you've ever failed an exam, and one of the weird questions people will ever ask anyone that has failed an exam is, what happened? Like, what happened? I failed the exam. Like, what else do you want me to say? What how do you want me to define it that I failed the exam? I failed the exam, right? But if you ever sit down and reevaluate and honestly ask yourself, what did I do wrong? Or how can I do better? Meanwhile, please bear in mind that once you have failed an exam, it becomes increasingly more difficult to pass it. And that was my story. Once you have failed an exam, it becomes increasingly difficult to pass, because now you don't only have the difficulty of the course or whatever it is, you now have the limitation in your mind. You now have the doubt to fight that you're not a failure. So you're fighting two battles: the tough course, chemistry 101, chemistry, whatever, the physics that might be hard, the mathematics, and you also have that self limiting doubt to also surmount before you can now truly scale. And so sometimes that's why you find that um, people make repetitive mistakes. Just like they might say, oh, if someone has ever had a failed marriage, it becomes also, they now have a higher tendency to still make a wrong decision in life partner. Those things are psychological, more psychological than you can think. Now, if you sit down and evaluate, why did I fail this course? When you think about growth-oriented mindset, you must not just be quick in pointing out the problem, but in identifying the part of the process that you missed, right? Choosing to embrace challenges and defining it as a stepping stone also means that you are also very, very quick in embracing feedback. So whatever it is that you are going through, there's a feedback in the midst of that. The feedback is what is going to equip you to better run your race. So if I have failed, what feedback is that so-called failure giving me? What feedback is my inability to get a job giving me? What feedback is my being consistently broke giving me? What feedback are all these challenges in my life giving me? A growth-oriented mindset is hungry for feedback, because no outcome is a coincidence. So you must choose to embrace, not just in taking responsibility, but embracing the fact that this is not independent of itself. So you are not only seeing opportunities to improve and to learn, you are also reevaluating yourself and you are committing to continuous learning. Right? You are committing to continuous learning. This is how you can have a growth-oriented mindset. You commit to continuous learning. You embrace new ideas, and you are quick to embrace feedback. You stay adaptable in any situation. How do you stay adaptable? If you have found out that you have done something over and over and over and it is not working, it is only insanity for you to keep trying in that same path. If you have been doing something repeatedly and you are seeing that it is not generating the result that you want, that means you need to look at it, evaluate it, be honest with yourself, take the feedback that the situation is giving you, and you go in the right direction, right? And that leads me to the next point. Remember, we're taking GREAT as an acronym, and G is growth-oriented mindset, result. This particular one is so dear to my heart. When we think of results, we think of the end or the outcome of something. You are in a process. You sit for an exam, and you get a result. But before the examination was scheduled, there were classes, tests, different sort of assessments that you had to go through. Results don't just happen. However, one of the things that we're quick to miss about results is the fact that results also are defined by purpose. And I'm going to show us 2 case studies for this particular point. The bamboo tree lesson, and I'm sure a number of us have heard this a number of times. You've heard this over and over and over, that When you plant a bamboo seed, it does not break the ground immediately. For the first 5 years, nothing seems to happen. Imagine planting a seed, and for the first 5 years, it is underground. During this time, the bamboo is growing deep roots underground, strong enough to sustain its future height. Another case study, the elephant, one of the most majestic creatures on earth. But its greatness begins in the most unusual way. The pregnancy phase lasts for 22 months. That is almost 2 years. Now, the elephant patiently carries just one calf. The baby elephant is called a calf. It carries just one calf for one season, where other animals might have birthed several. Just think of other animals that have multiple little ones at a go. Think of the mice, think of, I think, cats as well. Think of other animals. But for one season of pregnancy, almost 2 years, the elephant is incubating a calf for just one season. Now, we might be quick to say, yes, the bamboo tree takes 5 years and it's growing its roots downward, and when it sprouts, it becomes one of the most, the biggest trees that you can ever think about. And when you think about the elephant, wow, truly majestic, it should take that long for it to actually birth a calf. However, this is not to belittle another plant that can grow overnight. I think a mushroom can grow overnight. You can plant a mushroom and it grows overnight. Think of weeds. You might think weeds are unwanted, plants, as we're taught, but then they are also used for beautification. Think of any kind of plant. All of them have their own unique place. Every plant has its assignment. So should you. Match your pace and outcomes to your calling. Now, when we think about results, it's not just about the outcome. It must be directly proportional to your calling, to your purpose. Because if you have a calling to be an elephant, my dear, you cannot, your phase, your incubation period can never be anything less than the stipulated 22 months. And that is your journey. So you don't just quit during your root stage. Your visible success will be swift when the time comes. It's not just and that's why your journey, and I'm speaking to people who somewhat feel like there's been so many seasons that has passed and nothing seems to be happening, right? Everyone has a unique process. Embrace your unique process. Your journey may take longer than others, but it's because you are carrying something truly impactful. And then there's no room for you to even make such comparisons, primarily because who is the timekeeper? Your phase, your own journey is unique to you, and you must embrace it. You must embrace it. Your results, and I love to say something that results cancels insult. That's because when what God is doing with your life becomes manifest, is evident to all, and there's no room for argument. That simply means your what has been set ahead of you must be your focus. You cannot afford to be distracted. You must keep your eyes on the goal, and you must know the primary purpose for which you are doing what you are doing. That must be what is set before you. Again, there's no room for comparison. If you say anything that is compared is small, because you always look at it in the light of what another person has, there's no room for comparison. Your journey is unique to you, and you must run your race. How can you stay focused right? Stay relentless. Don't let delays discourage you. Stay relentless. Keep the vision clear. Whatever it is that you have set ahead of you, that you believe God has told you, and you are on that path, stay relentless. Turn pain into power. One of the most painful things that can ever happen to you is that a season goes by and you didn't draw lessons out of it. You didn't draw a curriculum out of it. You didn't extract a framework that can also help another person out of it. Turn that pain into power. And lastly, when you're staying focused, you must deliver excellently. Deliver excellently. Now, inspiration. We are on I right now in the word great. Inspiration. You must cultivate a voracious need and desire to ensure that nothing dampens your ability to keep showing up. Stay close to what fuels you. Be committed to what fuels you. A well watered garden only thrives because it receives the right nourishment. And for you to truly get to the end of whatever journey that you are on, whatever industry that you're playing in, you must stay committed. Stay committed. Stay inspired. Stay committed to everything and anything that fuels you. The people, have a community that inspires you to do great things. Make sure that you have something igniting your passion. You cannot afford to go a day without being fueled to do something that brings you closer to what you truly want to do with your life. And positive energy. Choose environments that refreshes you. Choose environments that keeps you wanting more out of life. We can only achieve as much as we are inspired to achieve. So, not being inspired is like just going on in life without fuel. When that fuel runs out, it's just expected that, one way or the other, the journey might come to a pause until you are refueled again. And so people can also serve as a form of fuel. And I cannot say this enough. If you need that kind of community, empower her. We have a system where at the point where you almost even feel like giving up, you receive opportunities that can again propel you to believe that there's more for me to want out of life. I cannot give up here. I promise that towards the end of this session for tonight, I'm going to be sharing with you how you can join the Empower Her community. Right? Before I go on to the last point, I would love to get feedback from us. I'd love to get feedback from us. So again, please ensure that you let me know that you're following in the comment section. I have one more point to share with us in that acronym, and then would invite the next facilitator. So are you with me? I would love to see responses. Thank you so much, Global Angie. We're following. Thank you for following. Thank you, Talk with Bliss. So good to see you here. Hi to you. I'm taking responses from YouTube right now, and I'll move to Zoom shortly. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you, Star Queen. Thank you for following. So good to know that you are with me. All right. Thank you, everyone, for bringing the energy on Zoom, on YouTube. So I want to get into comments from Zoom right now. Thank you, Amazing Joy. Thank you for being here. Thank you. I love the energy on both platforms. Thank you for connecting. Thank you for being here. All right. So we are on time. Whew, this one has a unique place in my heart. And I really want you to follow closely because all the points connect to the other. When it comes to time, there's a liberating saying that has truly empowered me. And I want to, you know, I want you to run with it. It sort of gives you solace in life. That when you wake up is your morning. And this is not even about, oh, you can't say that because there are people who catch up late in life and they've missed seasons, right? But it's not about waking up late. And when you wake up in the when you wake up is your morning is hypothetical, right? It's not about waking up late, but it's about what you do when you wake up. There are many people who have done phenomenal things at a time or at a season where it was termed late. But it is not exactly about the timing. It is about owning a season of your life that you decide to run with intention. And you can redefine your morning. How? Stop comparing your timing with others. Your race is unique. And this is a unifying theme across everything I have shared with us tonight. Stop comparing your time with others and prioritize what truly matters. Prioritize what truly matters to you. Remember, it's not about when you wake up, it's about what you do when you wake up. Some of us have beat ourselves up too much. You don't extend grace to yourself. And if you truly want to have leverage as a woman doing phenomenal things, you can't be stuck in that rut of regret. It is going to cost you a lot because regret is going to cost you much more than what you think you have lost. You will keep staying and wallowing in self-pity. You won't give yourself permission to truly rise, and you'll be doing more damage to yourself than good. I truly hope this session was instrumental. I do hope that I was able to speak to someone, and I hope you were able to learn a thing or two from this session. I will be bringing up the next facilitator shortly. Before I do, I'd love to read a citation and get you to meet her. She's going to be opening our eyes to global opportunities. So please make sure you don't miss any parts of this next session. I would just love to get a feedback from her to be sure she's right here with us, and I'll be handing over to her very shortly. So Heritage Saminda, while I'll just love any form of feedback that you can give me on Zoom, because I know that you have all the good stuff ready for us. You've shared with me how you're so excited and pumped. I am so excited for your session as well. You'll be sharing slides with us and all those amazing things and showing us how to unlock global opportunities and create sustainable impact. And I am truly, truly grateful that you'll be with us this evening. So I'm just waiting for a form of feedback from her before I go ahead to let you get to know her a bit more. Okay. Hi, Heritage. Are you with us?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Okay, she's here. She's here. She's here. I can see you. Thank you. Thank you so much for choosing to be here this evening. All right. Heritage Samilawal is a gender and international development consultant. So sorry. 1 minute, please. She's a gender and international development consultant, professional speaker. She has 7 years plus experience in driving equity, sustainability, and impact. She's a strategy, innovation, and policy solutions expert with nonprofit organizations and global institutions. She's also the ED of her Dream Initiative. Thank you so much, Heritage, for being with us this evening. So good to have you. Your mic is muted.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Just a minute. I'm trying to get connected with my other device.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, can you please make me host on the other device so I can share my
Oh,
screen?
sure.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you're listening from. My name is Heritage Somilawao. It's such a delight to be here with my good sister and friend. Um, she is I feel like we restricted her with the timing because honestly, she could take every one of these sessions on her own. That's how amazing she is. So thank you for, allowing us to be a part of this. This is such an
Thank you
amazing
so
movement.
much.
And because it's Empower Her, I have to really talk about women at this point. I feel like women need to, yeah, we need to stand up. I think we see that often online when they say women should stand up and like not knowing what it really means. But I feel we are getting to a point
Okay.
in time that it is now becoming necessary for women to begin to take and own their spaces. Um, so that being said, it's a delight to be here, and I really, really know that we're going to, get a lot from this session. So I am going to share my screen very, very briefly, and
You've been made a
then,
co-host with your other device.
oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So I'm trying to see what's going on here. What's going on? I'm so sorry. I should have actually figured this out before starting. I don't know, but I think okay.
Am I muted? Am I muted? Thank you. Yes, turn it off. Okay. Caleb did not send the link. Did I use
Okay.
it?
Um,
Okay, I did not see it though.
I'm still trying
It did not
to.
show on YouTube. It was showing. Okay. Yes. Okay. I think that's what she's trying to do actually. She'll send it to me. This light thing here can be very unsettling.
Okay, so my screen should be clear now. Can you see my screen, please? Okay, great. So it's just getting loaded up, and you should be able to see the first slide very soon. Okay. So good evening, everyone. It's good to be here once again. Let me just start very quickly because I know that time is really running out, and I am not the only speaker today, clearly. So let me just start. Thank you so much. The compliment on my hair, yes, thank you. So, in essence, women need to rise, women need to really pay attention. So, I would really, really, really pray that every woman here is listening with rapt attention. Today, I'm going to be sharing tips that you probably don't see anywhere, and the reason is obvious because there is competition. Now, if you tell yourself that the sky is big enough for everyone to fly and there's no competition, you are actually not telling the whole truth. Because right now, Africa is the youngest population. So that means that for any opportunity you see online, you have an average of 3,000 Africans that are applying for that same opportunity. Yes, people your age, people with your experiences, with your background, your classmates, your friends, there is always going to be that fierce competition, especially in the era that we are in right now, where we have Africa occupying a large percentage of the global population. So that means that women are doing themselves big, big disfavor by not hacking into these tips and leveraging on opportunities. And that's going to end today. I'm speaking to someone here. From today, you start making global moves. Yes, I am speaking to one person here. From today, you start making global moves. So let me just go straight to introduction. An introduction has been done for me already, so I do not need to do this again, thankfully. But you can see my screen and see some of the things that I have done over the years. But one thing that I do not always share, I think I've never shared it before, so this is the first time I'm sharing it, is that my walk into accessing global opportunities did not start in one day. Because there was a period in my life where my mom, for example, or let me just say my parents really, um, they were, I would term them as global individuals. My mom has traveled many countries and she's doing amazing things. She's one of my biggest inspirations. But there was a time in my life that it was difficult as a child to say, I mean, I traveled for the first time in 2007 to London. It was actually like a day trip. I say a day trip, like a holiday, right? And after that particular trip, it was difficult to convince my parents to leave the shores of Nigeria for anything. So what happened to my mind then? I started to think that it was a big deal to leave the shores of Nigeria to travel. I started to think of it as something scarce. So there's a scarcity mindset that has been built around the continent of Africa when it comes to travel and global opportunities, generally speaking. If you look at it right now, we have this even affecting our trade. It's difficult for someone to think, a business person to think of exporting to other countries, even within Africa, right? So we have this mindset. I don't know if it's due to the visa restrictions, due to the expensive travels and all that. But I think this has become very familiar, very comfortable in our space. Now, you will be surprised that when you speak to people who are not Africans, you will be surprised to see how they speak of travel. It's because it's not built around a scarcity mindset. They always believe they can wake up the next day, book a trip, and travel. And that's how they'll describe it to you. But as an African, you have to make more intentional steps. So I started thinking, how do I now convince my parents that I want to travel? And then the first opportunity I had was a summer school. I can't hype summer schools enough. If you have never heard about summer schools, you have heard about it today. So I found a summer school online that was targeted towards law and legal methods, which was my background. And then I applied and I wrote a scholarship essay and I sent it. This was back in 2019. And to my greatest surprise, I was given a fully funded scholarship to attend the summer school in Germany. Now, this was my, um, I don't know if memory serves me right, but I think that was my second time leaving the shores of Nigeria. But this time around, it was for something I accomplished on my own. No one gave me handouts. No one, I didn't have to beg anybody. I didn't have to give a PowerPoint presentation on why it was important that I travel. I simply wrote myself into that opportunity. Expression. So I began to see global opportunities as something that is very, very possible and achievable. It's not a big deal, honestly. And there's a part of this webinar today that I'm going to talk about the very essence of global opportunities. It's not just about taking pictures and looking good. When I was in Germany, I interned in a court. I went for trainings, I went for workshops, and it was a very enriching experience. But the the boomerang effect of that was I built relationships. I still have two of the professors from one of the universities that I went for a visiting research experience in Germany. Two of those professors are still on my email list and LinkedIn. They connect with me, they congratulate me when I have something special. So this just means that if you are thinking of opportunities to take pictures, you are probably in the wrong webinar right now because I do not have anything for you. I'll probably tell you to make money on your own and then just travel for tourism's sake. But this is not just about traveling. That's what I want to, diffuse. And it's also about traveling, but that's not the main focus. Okay, so this slide just love to put this so for people to know where in. Yeah, so I've been on various platforms, and then there's a picture. This was actually this year in March as the official flag bearer for the Commonwealth Day of Service here in London. So what is the agenda today? We're talking about what global opportunities are. We're talking about the intersecting aspects of opportunities and practical tips for applications, right? So let's go to global opportunities. What are global in this thing? I'm a global woman, and so does it mean to be global, right? So there are many entry points, and I just listed some of them, exactly 6 of them. We have fellowships, internships, volunteering, sharing, and then I have and jobs, conferences and jobs. How can I find opportunities? That's the question everyone is probably asking right now. How can I find opportunities? So the first, I'm going to give you this framework. I call it CDC. It's community, digital footprint, and credibility. Community, digital footprint, and credibility. Now, let's start with community. Let's start with community. Every time I see Africans step into a room and the first thing they want to do is share their LinkedIn, share their social media, I'm just like, this is not networking. This is exchange of content. We see this a lot in conferences. So for 90% of the opportunities I have gotten, it's because I am in one network or the other. That's it. It's because I'm in one network or the other. It's just like when you are, just imagine in a city room, right? Your dad is, maybe your dad, some of us that know this grilled fish, that is a very big fish and it's spicy with chips and everything. If you are in the chat, can you concur if you've experienced that joy of that grilled fish and your dad brings it home and then all the children are excited and ready to eat it, so everyone gathers the table. And then all of a sudden, someone random just knocks on the door. When I say random, I mean someone you guys have not seen in years. Like, you have not seen the person in years, and the person just knocks and opens the door, and the person is like, "Oh, so good to be here. Thank you for having me." And the person just sits down and brings their plates. How would you feel? The first thing you feel is, what do you mean? Like, we've not even seen your face in years. We don't even know you. We don't know you. We don't talk like that. For us to be shortening our ration to give you a part of this fish. Do you understand? Yeah, someone said the pain of sharing food is real. So this is exactly what it looks like when I see people say, "Oh, how do I get into the UN?" My dear, you can't jump. Oh. You can't jump. You have to engage yourself in the process of engaging with the audience. You have to. They have to keep seeing your face till they are tired of you, till they have to invite you to come and speak, to be a panelist or whatever. In the year 2022 or 2023, I traveled to Rwanda on another fully funded trip to attend a conference called Women Deliver Conference. Some of us may know that conference. I think next year it's taking place in Australia. Now, I have 80% probability of getting funded to attend the conference in Australia. How do I know this? Because the people who arrange the scholarships, the people who invite people, I have access to them. How did I get access to these people? Because back in 2022, they organized a coalition, and they held monthly meetings, monthly consultations. And I remember then, when I first joined this coalition, we could be like just five on the call. I would be there on the call, contributing, asking questions, giving insights. Um, And then when it was time, I remember that day was on my birthday in 2023. The director just called me to say happy birthday, and she was like, "Oh, would you like to come to Rwanda?" I'm like, "Of course, I would like to come to Rwanda." And the next thing, I became one of the Women Deliver speakers, and I was able to attend fully funded. Now, what am I saying in essence? No one is going to give you an opportunity if they feel like you are there to be an opportunity, if you're there to leech off. You cannot just fly yourself into the UN. You have to start from the place every other person started from. Of course, there are shortcuts. But what I found out about shortcuts is that shortcuts do not last. You get in there for a one-off gig, and there's no opportunity for you to progress in that space because they have already confined you to a particular space. That's the beauty of growing yourself into a community, is that you engage with them so much that they know you, they know the opportunities to refer you to, they know the people that they can talk to, they know the people they can introduce to you, right? So I listed some of these global audiences and how you can get involved with them. I listed the UN agencies, UN Youth Networks, Commonwealth, UN Women, Plan International, and the likes. So these are just some of the um the opportunities, or some of the ways to engage with community. Now let's go to D, which is digital footprint. If you have access to another device, or if you can even use this particular device you're using, I want you to right now do a Google search. Yes, everybody, let's do a Google search. Type in your name and let's see what comes up. Type in your name and let's see what comes up. Now, if you have typed in your name, and for the first three you saw LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter, can you just give a thumbs up? If you did a search and you saw a picture of yourself, not another person, you saw a picture of yourself coming out in the Google search, can you give a thumbs up? Can you give a thumbs up? Now, if you did a Google search and you saw a biography or an introduction of yourself, like a detailed explanation, can you also give a thumbs up? Okay, I can see some thumbs up. I think I've seen 3 so far. I can't see the ones on YouTube, but yeah, I'm hoping it's quite a lot. Um, so the first thing Now, if you let's look at it. Let's look at it this way. If you did a Google search and nothing came up, it's fine. It's fine. That's why we're here. That's why we're here. So, how do you get digital footprints? Number one, you have to show up. You have to show up. Showing up is boring. Oh my God, showing up is boring. I told someone that when I started showing up at consultation, sometimes I'll be feeling so sleepy because it's like they're saying the same thing in different languages over and over again. You have to attend meetings. Most of these meetings do not even take place in your time zone, so you have to stay up to attend those meetings. Last year, I was a fellow for Don Lovai Fellow with the Makoto Center, and I remember that particular fellowship program took place in the night, like in the midnight. I had to stay up to attend that fellowship. But guess what? The fellowship came with a fellowship or an award prize of about $1,500. I can't even remember the amount right now. But I remember that when I eventually saw the prize money, it then occurred to me, I was not thanking God because some people couldn't cope with the classes and the sessions, so they dropped out. And obviously they didn't get the prize money, but I did. I kept showing up even if it was difficult and hard and boring. In the past weeks, for example, I have been making more effort into writing because I have seen that writing is good. Writing is really good. You write articles, you write research, opinions and blogs and everything. I currently run a newsletter on LinkedIn as well. So this is just an attempt to show up. You have to keep showing up. Show up at this event, show up on the internet. Let it be that your name is linked to articles online. You are writing opinion pieces for people and writing opinion pieces even on your own platforms, right? So another way to show up is social media. That's another way to build digital footprint. Now, I have to say this, I have to pause to say this because recently I have been on board to review several applications, and what I see sometimes saddens me. Now you see two individuals who have the same skill sets, same experiences, same achievements in life, and somehow you are caught at a tie. You have two excellent applications that have been written. Now, let me give us this secret. In most cases, when you are being asked to put your social media links or handles in an application, do never in your life assume that they are not going to go through it. Never. So this is for you, the person listening to me that is not active on Twitter and you're giving them your Twitter. Just say you don't have. If you know you have not posted on your Twitter since 2006, 2007, or if you know that what you're going to see there is one throwback picture of you in high school doing like this with your tongue out, that kind of thing, don't put it on your application form. I beg of you. Because reviewers are going to go through that when they are stuck, when they are looking at everybody's application and it looks like the same thing. Everyone is saying, oh, I empower women, I transform societies, I change lives, I impact lives. Everyone is saying the same thing, using the same words, the same thing. So reviewers just want to know, what is the credibility? I'm going to credibility. What is the credibility of this application? So they will go to your social media. They will. Now, if you do not have a good digital footprint on social media, do not give your handles out. Do not give them out, right? But if you have a platform, it could be one. For example, I'm on Twitter, but I'm not active on Twitter. I never send out my Twitter handle to anyone because I don't post anything there. There is no contact point. So I give them my Instagram or I give them my website, which I built for free. I will talk about that as well. Or I give them my LinkedIn. Now, these are places where I show up and they would see that there's a footprint on those platforms. I hope this one is very simple to understand. If you have a social media that is not active, please repent today. Start by showing up. start by showing up. Give yourself a challenge. I'm going to post twice every week, and I'm going to not just post, because your Sunday post in Sunday clothes, that is not social media engagement. You are just showing us how good you look. Or if you're a Christian, for example, and or maybe you're a ministry gift and you want to talk about or something you learned in church, that's a bit more impactful than just saying happy Sunday, I look good today, that kind of thing. No, that is not post, that is not engagement. Engagement is something that is aligned with your path, something that is aligned with the opportunities you want to begin to ask. Right. So if you go through my social media, for example, you see a lot of references to the UN, to UN reports, to UN opportunities, because that is the space I want to engage with. So any space you want to engage with, you need to start engaging them, reaching out to them, tag them. They will do like as if they are not seeing it, but they are. They are seeing it. Let me move on with this because of time. Let me go to Google and AI alerts. So people do not know this, but you can actually get Google and AI, that's ChatGPT, to bring you opportunities to your inbox every single morning. I chose 1 a.m. to get opportunities so that when I wake up around 4 to 5 a.m., I begin to go through applications that I would write when the day starts. So that helps me to schedule out my to-do list when I want to plan my day. So for example, for a typical day, I'm applying to at least 2 opportunities. I'm being so serious. I apply to at least 2 opportunities every day. And when I say opportunities, it's not just to travel. For courses, for learning opportunities, for job opportunities, internships, fellowships, trainings, workshops. So I'm always just trying to go and develop. And this is how everyone should be. So you can set up a Google alert. For example, I have one. You can just Google alerts, literally, and then you begin to see how to program your Gmail to get opportunities. So there's one I have that's fully funded conference. So that means every day I get I get emails that show me the fully funded conference that has just been launched or published on the internet. Now, you cannot compare me to someone who is waiting for opportunity desk or sisterly HQ, opportunities for Africa to post. You can't compare me because, first of all, I have the advantage of time. I have the advantage of time. Some people prepared their Chevening applications before Chevening came out. Now, imagine you now seeing Chevening application and now applying as a start. You first have to go through the requirements, you have to go through getting the reference letters, getting the CVs, getting the essay. Why are you doing that? So do you want to compare yourself to someone who was writing the application 3 months, who has prepared all the application documents 3 months before Chevening came out, or Commonwealth Scholarship? You can't compare yourself to them. So you have to do the boring work. You have to do the like literally leave the footprint. So on AI, you can use ChatGPT. There's a prompt. I do not know why I didn't put this on the slides. I'm so sorry. But you can prompt ChatGPT to bring you daily alerts based on a career field or based on something you're interested in, and AI will set that up for you. Another one is to subscribe to repositories. Now, subscribing to repositories is a favorite of mine because this is how I have gotten opportunities in the past 2 years. Now I hardly look out for opportunities. Opportunities come to me. Yes, and it can come to you too. It can come to you from today. You can subscribe to repositories. Now, let me just give you a tip here. Now, let me go back to this slide. You see all these networks I wrote down all have newsletters. All of them have newsletters. And when I say all, I say all. For example, I get newsletters from UN Women. And for the International Youth Day, there was a newsletter that was sent to everyone who subscribed to their newsletter to apply for a challenge. And I saw it, I wanted to move past it, but I couldn't because I'm like, I can apply for this. And I did. And I was one of the first 3 winners out of over 400 applications across 15 countries. Now, how did I come about this? It came to my email. I was just on my own in my house. All I had to do was just fill a form, and that's it. So you can get opportunities to your email every single day by subscribing to these newsletters. If you do not want to overcrowd your personal email, I would advise that you open an email or you create an email specifically for global opportunities. So that's where you're doing all the subscribing to newsletters, subscribing to alerts and all that. So that's just a tip. So let's go to, okay, so I've spoken about newsletters already, so let's move on. So let's go to credibility. Now, this is the last framework. So I have CDC, community, digital footprint, and credibility. If you forget anything today, please don't forget that. Credibility. To build credibility, there are 5 stages to which you can build credibility. The first is the registration. And this is also known as application. When you are writing your applications, you must read your applications to yourself, and it must look credible. It must look like something you wrote yourself. It must look like something you did yourself. Let me give an example. I have been through applications before where people would say, I impacted 4,000 people, right? And then you go to their social media and they have just 50 followers. Let me ask us, does it add up? Let me see who is honest on this call today or this webinar. Does it add up? To hearing that, does it add up to you? It doesn't add up. So am I saying follower count matters? Not exactly. Because if you now go through the page, you won't be surprised to find out that they haven't posted anything since maybe 2018, 2020 that ascribes to the fact that they've been able to reach 4,000 people. If I have reached 4,000 people, I should have a way to prove it, not just by force, the post I've been making. So the 4,000 people you impacted, are they ghosts? Do you mean that none of them can count you worthy to follow you, or to even maybe have pictures of your outreaches or pictures of your engagements? That's why sometimes I attend webinars and I take screenshots so that one day I won't come and be hearing, oh, I don't think you were there. You understand? I have the evidence, I have the proof. I have that. So people see me on my social media page, they see pictures from UN, pictures from this, pictures from that, and they think I'm just doing it because I like taking pictures. No, because I don't want to hear that there was a time that I became a Commonwealth flag bearer and someone is arguing with me. All I need to do is to pull up my social media page. All I need to do is to pull up maybe one of the news articles that came out after I was, the flag bearer. All I need to do is to go on BBC and bring out the news reports from that day. There is a track record. Exactly. I saw someone use that word, track record. Very, very profound. So at the registration stage, you must be able to read your application to yourself and believe. So no one is going to accept your application on faith basis. Believers say something that faith is the evidence of things not seen, right? So that's in the spiritual context. But human beings, we look at the face value. The Bible even says that, right? It is God that knows the hearts. It is God that knows that you have impacted 4,000 people. But human beings will be looking at the track record, the evidence, not of things not seen, but it must be seen. The substance must be seen, not just hoped for, it must be felt and seen. Let me move forward from there. Let me go to file selection because, oh my God. Please, I just want to beg that the host should please let me know when I'm running out of time because I think I'm even speaking too much. Okay, let me go to file selection. Now, some of us have this very wild habit of not even naming our document properly. So some of you attach pictures to an application and it doesn't even have your name. It has IMG 7223. What is that? What is that? Like, what is that? So if you are here now, you have a corporate picture, a standard portrait picture. I want you to rename it this night. Rename it. Let it be your full name, Heritage Somilawao, so that when I am attaching those documents, it gives a professional look. There are some applications you go through as a reviewer. I go through some applications, and before I even open it, I'm already dancing because I know this is going to be good. The professionalism is something that draws people's attention when they see that your CV is properly named, CV hyphen your full name, your picture is properly named, portrait of Heritage Somilawao. It just gives a different air than someone who is just stumbling into IMG or JPEG 160. Please, let's stop all those things this night. I'm begging us. Also, when it comes to file selection, your CV, if they're asking for your CV, you can use softwares. There are so many softwares online now that you don't even have any excuse. Right now, as I'm speaking, you can do a free review of your CV using Resume Worded and other platforms to score your CV and then to work on it, to work on the structures and the way it looks and everything. Also, for file selection, I normally do one thing when I have sessions like this, and that's to show people I have a document that is named application draft. I had a live session with one of my friends very recently, and I showed them my application draft, and people were shocked. That is a build up of all the applications I've been applying for since the year 2023. Yes, 2023/2022 thereabout. So that is a build up. Now you must have a document that documents all your applications, whether you got in or not. Do you know why? Because most of these application questions are the same. What motivates you? What inspires you? What is your future aspiration? Give me your bio. All these things should be on standby. Never get to a point that you're scrambling for these kind of things. This is why I tell people it doesn't matter if you're 100% qualified or not. You end up missing the shot you don't take. So still apply, because that helps you to build up your skills with writing. So now I am an expert in talking about myself or writing about myself because I've been doing this for over 5 years. So of course, I would not be the same with someone who doesn't even have a record of their applications, because I put everything in a document and I always go to it when I need to answer a new question. So I add it. I add that new question and I add the answer to that question. So that's it for file selection. For interviews, now for every interview, you have to show up professional. You have to show up with plain backgrounds like this, and then it has to be a well-lit room, and then the noise has to be on zero. So right now in this room, there's zero noise. But if it happens that I'm in a room with many people, then I have to pin a microphone. Microphones are very cheap. You can get one for like 10,000 naira now, 15,000 naira. Just pin the microphone and then you can, speak clearly. So for interviews, you also have to bring a confident air that you are there to add value and that you're there to contribute meaningfully, right? So there's the announcement aspect of it too. When they announce that you are now the winner of a scholarship, how do you talk about it? How do you show up, right? So some of us get opportunities, we don't even post it. Those people that sponsored you will be looking at your page and wondering why you're not saying anything about it. So when announcements are being made, there's a way you announce it. Some people see my page and they say, oh, I'm happy to announce this, I'm happy to announce that. But that announcement was because I know the people who gave me the opportunity would go back to my social media page to see that I have spoken about it one way or the other. And then finally, there's participation, which I believe the next speaker will talk about. So let me just leave that. So when you are writing applications, I'm not going to read this out. You can take a screenshot. Number one, understand the assignment, or I would also say understand the question, because some of us don't understand the question and we rush to answer. You don't need to rush. If you don't understand it, take time to understand the question. Very simple question like, what are your achievements? That is not the place and time to talk about things like your challenges in life, right? Or the things that you have gone through. They are asking for your achievement, as in the numbers. Do you understand? So understand the assignment before you begin to write. Understand the question. Now we have many processing softwares and AI tools that can help you to understand questions better. So you can type in AI, they have asked me this question, what does it mean? If it's too complicated for you, break down the keywords. For example, if the keyword is motivation, so that means that you need to do a little bit of storytelling, right? The keywords will determine the framework of your answers. So let me go to the next one, is to plan and structure. So I never advise that you rush yourself into applying for something. Actually, I do it a lot, but it's because I already have like a back end of applications that I've done. So sometimes, like I said, the questions are the same. So all I need to do is to lift, just review for typos, and then lift it and put it in a new application. But sometimes there are questions you need to structure out, especially if you're applying for something advanced, right? So you need to plan and structure it very properly. Now, revise and edit thoroughly. Share to your friends, let them read, share who have gone ahead of you. I ask questions a lot. I send applications to my mom, my sister, my brother, my friends. I share it to mentors to help me review and to make sure that it's something I can submit. So that is where I will stop for days of time. But you can actually send me an email. I would respond. You can connect with me on YouTube. You can connect with me. No, you can't connect with me on YouTube. You can only see some of my videos. But you can connect with me on LinkedIn and Instagram. And of course, if you have any questions or concerns, you can send them in and I'll get to that. Thank you so much again for this opportunity. Such a privilege to be here. And yes, I'm still going to be here for the next session because I know it's going to be amazing. Thank you so much.
Heritage Samila, wow, I could listen to you all day. And I do hope that for everyone who was, paying rapt attention, you heard something that she said. That particular phrase has been ringing in my head since it came out of her mouth, that opportunities can come to you, opportunities should come to you. And there's a way to automate this process. Felt like skills were just falling off our eyes. And I want to get our feedback. Please share your feedback in the comments. I want to read from us, and I want to see us appreciate Heritage for this impactful session. Please help me appreciate her. I want to see our energetic responses and appreciation. I want to read from us. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. That was pure gold. Pure gold, pure gold, pure gold right there. Wow. Wow. I have a ton of to-dos to do after that session. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So impactful indeed. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So impactful. Wow, so much light. So much light. Olale Grace says so much light. Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you so much for sharing and not holding anything back. After this session, you have no excuse, absolutely none, from assessing global opportunities. You have none. This is like a blueprint that you just need to start executing and you see immediate results because they were so practical, so practical, so simple to execute. The steps are actionable and you are going to see results. So don't just have it in your notes. Don't just get excited. She has literally just given us a hack. I mean, several hacks that we can start running with. Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing. That was truly, truly impactful, full of so much light. All right, I will be going to our next facilitator now. I am so excited about this next session. And I'll just love to check in with our facilitator to be sure she's here. And then I just get to introduce her to you. Also, you might want to just grab a glass of water at this point or just take a drink, from your cup of coffee or your juice because it's going to be another refreshing time. So I'd love to check that Stella is with us and she can, hear me loud and clear. Hello, Stella. Are you here with us? Hi, Stella. I'd love to get feedback from you. Looking forward to your session. All right. Thank you so much for being available and for, choosing to spend your time with us at Empower Her. Stella will be taking us on strategies that elevate women in leadership. She is a multi sector investor relations professional, chartered accountant, podcaster, speaker, and financial literacy advocate with proven experience across banking, investment banking, high growth tech startups. She integrates finance, communications, and strategic partnerships to shape narratives, deepen stakeholder trust, and unlock impact. And I am so excited for your session this evening, Stella. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining us from. It's so good to be here. I have listened to your session and the session of heritage. It has been super insightful. And I also want to use this opportunity to also wish you a happy birthday again. And I pray that in this new year, the Lord will satisfy all that concerns you. He'll give you speed. He'll give you clarity. Okay, so it's so good to be here. I see that we have 18 persons here, and I'm super excited that you have stayed thus far. And this is because you're very intentional about your growth and the things that, you really, the places where you're headed, and I'm happy to be here. So welcome once again, and I would you could help me share the slide, but really a lot of things have happened, and so I would, also be speaking off the top of my head. Okay, so welcome everyone again, and today we're going to be talking about, who knows what we're going to be talking about? Who knows what we're going to be talking about? Okay, so today we'll be talking about positioned for power. That's what I would like to call it. Strategies that elevates women in leadership. Now, this topic is very timely and very important, very crucial at this point because a lot of us just do good job and we're like invisible candidates, right? And as Christians, I am a Christian. It says that we are the light of the world. You cannot be light and then be hiding under a bushel. It means that you are understating your power. You're putting yourself at a disadvantage, and that's not where you want to be. You have the light, so you should be at the rooftop or at the apex or at the zenith, at the top of anywhere, your sphere of influence or your mountain of influence, and scream and shine that light forth, because it's that light that will bring more people to also, manifest and become better persons, right? So I'm excited to be here once again, and I do hope that at the end of this session, each and every one of us would, go home differently. Now, this session is to sort of guide us on how we can be intentionally positioned for leadership. And this is not a case where you're waiting for them to promote you, or you're waiting for them to call you. No,
Am I muted?
this is you
Am I muted?
actively
My
creating your
video
steps
on
and your
YouTube
journey.
looks this.
There are things that you do and you know that you are definitely going to be picked. You know that you're definitely going to be promoted. And it's about, using the right strategies. It's about leveraging visibility and also ensuring that you are in alignment, right? So I will start by saying that power is not a personality. So you cannot say, oh, I'm not that kind of person. This is not me. It's about positioning, right? It's about how you carry yourself. It's about the things that you say, the contributions that you give, right? So I don't know how many of us watch the series by Aresi, The Smart Money Woman, and one of my favorite characters there is Lara. I don't know if we have watched it. If we have, I'd like to see our interaction in the chat box just so that I know that we are in sync. Lara is that person who is an attractive character to me. She was like a boss babe, getting things done and doing everything. But there were times where we see that where it was time for promotion, she was sidelined, times where she was trying to negotiate and then she was getting a pushback, right? So all of those things are the things that women in the workplace, experience. There was a time, if we've watched Lara Unlimited, the new version, where she was supposed to be promoted and they gave it to another person, even though she was more competent. There are times when competence is not just enough, right? You cannot just say, oh, I'm doing excellent work. You have to do much more than that. You also have to be visible. And these are some of the things that we will be talking about today. So I'm first going to share that wherever it is that you find yourself, whether in your office, whatever position, whatever platform that you are in, you need to be strategic about it, right? You need to be strategic. Now, what am I saying? I'm simply saying that when you find yourself in an environment, it could even be in church, it could be anywhere where two or more people are gathered, you should want to be visible. You should want to be strategic. Now, I'm not saying be a busybody, be a show, be everywhere and all of that. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm talking about is you being a trendsetter, you having a clear vision on why you are here. First, you don't need to be in all rooms. You need to know the rooms that matter to you. And this is you having a personal vision for your life, a personal vision for your career to elevate yourself. So now, I've mentioned strategic leadership, and this is because there are other types of leadership. It could be operational leadership, but now we're not talking about operational leadership because that is where each and every one of us, immediately we start working or when we get into a place, that is the first level that we all occupy, operational leadership. Oh, we're trying to get the work done. You're trying to get the work done. Now you have been trying to get the work done, but as you grow, you need to do more than get the work done, right? So what is required of you now, what I'm calling you up to now, this session is a call for everyone to come up higher. You need to work higher. You have been working on a certain level and you haven't gotten a different result. And Jumoke mentioned that you're doing the same thing, expecting a different result. That's already insanity. So operational, you have been good, but now this is more than operational. You have to be strategic. Now, when we're talking about strategic, what are we saying? We're saying you're doing the work that matters. You're not just doing just any job. You're asking questions when you're given a task, when you're given a deliverable. You want to know, how does this contribute to the ultimate version of this organization? You want to make sure that the work that you are doing truly matters, such that if you're making a photocopy of a document, if that is what is required of you, you're giving it your best. You're doing it so excellently that another person will not do it that same way. And this is because you have foresight. You understand what this document is going to be used for, who is going to use this document. Like you just have a bigger picture. You see differently. So you're doing the work that matters. And that is why if you work in an organization, practical illustration, if you work in an organization, there's usually a budgeting or a retreat session where you're saying for next year or for this period, this is what we want to achieve. So at this point, they're telling you, we want to increase profits by 35%. We want to increase adoption of our products, or we want to get into new locations. We want to get into new territories. You already have an idea. Okay, so this is the bigger version. For me as a person, my role, how can I help to achieve this bigger version? So you are breaking it down. You're saying, okay, these are my tasks. This is my JD. which of my JD ensures that these goals that have been outlined by leadership is going to be achieved? This is you thinking strategically now. You're not just thinking, oh, I'm just in an organization and you don't know what they want to achieve. If you don't know what they want to achieve, how do you even properly position yourself? And even when you're doing your job, how do you communicate it? Right? It's not just about saying, oh, I did the work. No, you're not just saying, oh, I have done the project, or I have done this task. You're just that is a child's play level of communication. You want to communicate to say, for this period XYZ, we set a target to achieve this. And my team and I, if you're in an organization where you always have to put teamwork ahead, you're saying, oh, my team and I, we worked on this task, ensuring that we achieved 15% of this target. And we know that by the end of this period, given this run rate, we'll be able to achieve this. Now, it's the same thing. You did the work, but this is you communicating that we did the work, this vision. We did it for this particular purpose so that we can achieve this. Now, can you see that you are different? And that's why you'll be wondering, what is this person saying? It's what you did that I did. No, communication is very different. It is how you treat yourself, how you present yourself. That's how people would present, would take you. So you need to start taking yourself seriously. If you have been maybe playing with yourself, you don't take yourself seriously. You need to start taking yourself seriously and know that the work that you do is not just an activity. It is productive work, and you have to communicate it. Another illustration of strategic leadership. Now, this is the first one of the ways that you need to start reframing all your activities before we now start going into the strategies for elevation. So you are seeing beyond now, right? They call you into a meeting. You're not just docile, you're not just sitting. If you come into a meeting and you don't say a word and that meeting ends, my question would be, next time, I don't want to fill up spaces. I'm not looking for matter. Why should you be in that meeting? Because if you're not going to contribute, then you really shouldn't be there, right? Docile, don't ever be a docile person. Don't ever be a passive person. And I'm not saying, oh, just come and be shouting and all of that. The way a strategic woman would prepare for a meeting is you have been informed that a meeting is going to happen. You want to have an idea. What is the agenda about? Who is going to be in this meeting? So that you're adequately prepared. Don't just show up unprepared. No, you cannot afford to just come like, oh, they just told me about it and I just came. No, you want to ask, what is the purpose of this? And because this will now begin to shape your mind, and then you are beginning to ask questions like, okay, what am I anticipating that you're going to say? You start doing FAQs in your head just so that you are prepared. And then when you're speaking, you're really speaking what matters. You're making meaningful contributions. Or if you don't even have contributions to make, you're asking meaningful questions, maybe blind spots that people have not, anticipated or factored. Don't be a yes person. I'm not also saying be an unnecessary devil's advocate. No, but they're saying, oh, we think that we need to build this project and we need this budget to do it. And then you can speak to them about, oh, I hear that there's this agentic tool, this AI tool that can do it. We can create a workflow. We can create an automation. I think it's something. No, please don't use I think here. That's something again. That's one vocabulary that I've been trying. I'm currently actively working on to remove. Because when you say I think, it means that you're not sure. It means that you're not confident. And it means that they can just say, you say, I recommend. That is very strong. The term languaging that you use is very, just as when we'll tell you when you're putting action verb, not just writing random things. You want to use orchestrated, spearheaded, led words. Those are the kind of words you want to use when you are contributing. So for example, now you guys are working on a project and you think that this project is not going to go as planned. One of the power words that you can use is, I am nervous about this. Like, people take you seriously when they hear those kind of words, because it's not just random. It's not something that people would just use. And funny enough, it comes over time. Like I said, you caught me say, I think, but I think it's not the word. It's I recommend. because that is actually the right thing that you're saying, but you're also not sounding forceful, because there's a lot of stakeholder relationship and management that is at play when you are at work and in whatever position or gathering that you have found yourself. So strategic leadership is one who is seeing beyond now. When somebody is saying, I think we should invest this amount into this project, you want to say, I think, no, not I think, you see that I'm doing it again. Yes, I recommend that we use an AI tool to save time, to save budget, and to achieve it faster. Now they know that, oh, this person is a valuable person. Every time there's a meeting, they want to hear what you have to say because they know that you are going to give value. Whether they use it or not is up to them, but you have said it. And these meetings have to do with whether it's a physical meeting or whether it's a digital meeting, because ideally, we all know that in meetings, minutes are being taken, notes are being taken. So you want your name to appear, and your name is appearing for value, right? Another thing is for strategic leadership, one of the very important, you are aligning your task, right, to the greater vision. It's something that, as I mentioned, you're not just doing jobs and you don't know how it is translating. So this would also help you to know the kind of task to take on. So you know that this is the big vision of the organization. This is what I should be doing towards this. It really doesn't require me. You want to use your wisdom just so that I properly drive this home. There's something that I like to talk about on the 4 levels of value, which I learned from my mentor. So each and every one of us, wherever you are listening to me or you listen afterwards, we all give value, but we give value at different levels. Now this first and level, which is the implementation. So implementation is like operations. Oh, do this, do that. For Yoruba people here, it's something people that we call Sheyis and Muiwas. You don't want to be a Sheyis and a Muiwa. Sheyis and Muiwa are like maybe intern. They're just sending them, oh, run, go and do this. Oh, run, go and do that. They don't even know why they're doing it. They're just doing it. Move from that around using your muscle, because it has to do with running around. So you're not really using your brain as such. You're just using time and muscle. And that's why I value education. Now, at this stage, like I mentioned, unification, you're managing resources, you're putting together resources, you're managing people, you're managing things, you are leading teams. Now, you see that I've come up higher, and this is how the trajectory of work is. So, as an entry level, you'll be doing implementation, a lot of implementation, you're doing a lot of tasks, you're doing a lot of handy things and all of that, but begin to get promoted, you're leading a team of one, at this point, unification is at work where you are using your managerial skill. Now here, this is where you're developing your stakeholder management. How can you manage people? How do you manage conflict? How do you ensure that things are going on smoothly? How do you lead teams? Afterwards, this case, you're not using the most communication skill, which is very vital for anybody who is going to get to the top. So there's no I'm not a confident person because I'm an introvert. Confidence is not a personality. Whether you are introverted, whether you're extroverted, confidence is something that everybody should have. And I know that some people like, oh, well, how do I become confident? Competence is one of the things that makes you a confident person, because when you are competent, it means that you know how to do what you are supposed to do. So there's no reason why you appear shy. But then I also know that other persons will be like, I'm competent, but I'm not really confident. Now, for you, what you need is preparation. You just need to do a lot of rehearsals, speak to yourself, all of that, because you can execute it. You can get it done. So be confident. So I don't want to hear, oh, I'm an introvert, I'm an extrovert, I'm shy in my family. No, everybody needs to become confident. So now we're talking about communication, the 3rd level of value. You want to know how to use your mouth. You want to know how to influence people. You want to know how to cast vision. Very important. And then the ultimate level of value is imagination. Now, at this phase, You are betting things, you are creating things. Now think of the richest people in the world. This is the level where they play because they're thinking of how can I bet things? How can I create things? How can I make people's life better? They're always using their mind. There's a lot of mind work. The imagination. For me, I'm always fascinated by Elon Musk because I'm like, how is this guy even thinking? Why do you want people to go to space? But that's another level of imagination. And these things usually come in sequence. And the thing is, you can even shorten your growth because now that you know, oh, implementation, I've been doing operational things for so long, I need to step up higher to unification. I need to know how to manage people because you can't do things alone. And then you know that to even manage people effectively, you need to improve on your communication. And communication changes. The way you would communicate when you are at the implementation stage is different from how you communicate when you're not at the unification. Because you want to cast a vision, you want them to run with it, right? And then imaginations stage two, the way you're going to communicate is very different because you have bettered a thing in your mind and you want to create it. You want to bring what is to fruition, to tangibility that people can hold. So you also need to know how to communicate your mind to them. It's just like translating a vision, moving it from your head into the hearts of others such that they are able to run with it. Now, all of these are still strategic leadership. And I do hope that this is really clear because this sort of lays the foundation, right? It's talking about strategic leadership is the foundation for visibility. It's also the foundation upon which you're going to build every relationship, going forward. Now, the blueprint for women when it comes or for strategies that will help to elevate you in leadership is one strategy. Now, every time you are excellent, but you are not visible, it's a missed opportunity. Something that Heritage also mentioned. You have gotten an opportunity, you have gotten a win. No matter how like whatever it is that you have achieved, there's somebody who is looking to achieve that thing. And something that I should just also mention because we've spoken about competence is that in the world where it's a male-dominated industry, if you're in a male-dominated industry or in a fast-paced industry, and you're like, oh, the cat has stacked against me because I'm a woman, I want you to know that bias would always bow in the face of competence. Like people might not like you, people might think, oh, why is she like this? But if you are competent, they will still always come back to you, they'll still always recommend you. I would say that one of the key things that you need to have as a woman, whether in the business space or wherever, is to have boundaries. And don't let anybody break those boundaries without consequences. Because when people break or cross your boundaries and they don't pay a price, so now I'm not saying like punish them or beat them, but when they do that and you don't correct it, it doesn't become a boundary again. It looks like the lines are blurry. So you really need to, one of the background foundational things you need to do is to have your boundaries. Nobody will talk to me this way. I would address it. I would correct it, right? I just thought that I should mention that as an aside, right? So visibility is very key. And not all visibilities are equal. Some people are visible in their offices for the wrong reasons. Oh, this one is just a noisy person. Oh, this one is giving to small talk. So you want to be intentional about the kind of visibility that you are creating. When they see you, are they just seeing you as a popular person or a powerful person? There's no boy point really being is to be a person, to be a respected person, to be seen for your value and not for your availability. Don't just be everywhere. Don't be cheap, right? No, let them see you in the right company, in the right spaces, in the right conversation, in the right project where your competence really, really speaks for you. This is really, really what matters because strategic visibility would command respect. And what are some of the ways that you can, have strategic visibility? Is something that Heritage has also mentioned. Your online presence, very key, very, very Something that I try to do for myself every now and then is, like she said, I Google myself. I Google myself to see what is being said about me that I don't even know. Because there are times where I have Googled myself and I see my name pop up in a particular field. And I'm like, who mentioned me? What is somebody saying about me? Because you really want to track what is being said about you out there. Was my name mentioned in a particular comment section that it's not supposed to be there? So you know when to go and correct it. You know when to go and delete it. You have to be intentional about how you show up. People nowadays, just like we have a home address, the online space or digital space is also your digital address. So just the way we want our houses to be clean, well arranged, and you also want your digital appearance to also look the same way. So you have to be very intentional about what is being created about you. So your online presence is key. If you're in the workplace, wherever, in a gathering where you have found yourself, internal leadership as well is strategic visibility. When we, like I mentioned earlier, when they call you into meetings, do they know that you're going to contribute meaningfully, or are you just going to be like one of the furnitures? You just come in and go out. Like you say, prepare for every meeting. When you prepare for something, you would always have something to say. Whether it's a question, whether it's a point for clarification, whether it's a consolidation, you want to really do that. Another thing, like I mentioned, just using key terms, but the things I've mentioned is perception management. And this has to do with power language, where instead of saying, I think, you're saying, I recommend, I am nervous. Those kind of words in business setting, it just changes something. And perception is reality. What people think about you is really what they think about. Change is impression. Yes, because first impressions are first impression. The second time takes harder work. So you really want to get it right at first. And one of the ways you can also improve your strategic visibility is the way that you look, the way that you dress, very importantly, and the way that you smell as well. I know that it looks like, wow, is it that serious? Yes, it is that serious. It is that serious. How do you look? There are some people who they dress well, and the way you just dress, they just say, oh, this person must be an excellent person. As minute as nails, like I know that some of us we wear nail polish and then maybe one of them would remove. When it removes, is either you remove everything or you stick it back. If you're painting your normal nails and it's chipped, just clean everything. Now, these little things, they matter a lot and it goes a long way. So don't say, oh, they're just trivial things. Nobody's looking. I know that there are days where we will fall short, but if you tell yourself you would always get it right, you can always get it right. Now, don't forget, this is strategy 1 for elevating your leadership, your strategic visibility, very key. Give yourself the permission to shine. Don't play small. Don't dim your light. Don't let them say, oh, you are doing too much. As long as you know you're not doing too much, make sure you leverage online presence. Use LinkedIn. Use LinkedIn to show forth your expertise. There are some times where you might not really have like the opportunity in the workplace, maybe because of your positioning or your cadre. Come to the online, come online, right? Write about your work, write about things that you do, tag the right people, follow the right people, volunteer for the right communities, just like she mentioned. Begin to position yourself as a thought leader. I know that sometimes we're always saying that, how can I be a thought leader? I've only worked for 7 years. 7 years is enough for you to teach somebody who is just starting off their career because you have experienced things and you have a lot of things to say. So don't get me when I'm 10. When you get to 10, so you still give yourself that same excuse. As long as you have started doing something for more than 5 years, more than 3 years, you have something to say. You might not be able to speak things to say. Silence is not humility. In some rooms, it is obscurity. But another thing, just to balance it, is you need to also know how to read the room, particularly if you are in a meeting with your boss or all of that. You should have understood the kind of person that your boss is, so that it's not like you're doing too much or you're saying too much, or you also know how to use your wordings. because we have your boss can be intimidated by you, who is the junior, and you just say, oh, don't invite her to that meeting again because she's going to speak too much. You also want to speak as a team. Oh, we did this. Oh, like my boss would always say, even when your boss is not saying it, like my boss would say, or like my boss has mentioned, or you want to make sure that your boss is in a good light. It requires a lot of wisdom. It requires a lot of tact. You don't want to be known for just being loud, but quality. You don't have to say a lot of words, but that one point that you drop is very, very key. So the second one that I will also mention, a second strategy, is about leadership alignment, right? Because alignment is very, very key. You know how they really say that, can two work together except they be in agreement? You want to make sure that whatever it is that you're doing is aligning with the organization. Because you can be brilliant, but brilliance without alignment will still keep you small. And, alignment is ensuring that, like I mentioned earlier, that all of the things that you're doing, all of the tasks, the activities that you're doing, it's adding up to the bigger vision. So when they're thinking of, oh, we're thinking we want to downsize, we think we want to rationalize, they're able to say, no, you can't, because this person is the one working on this key goal. Like you want to own a task where if they're looking for who will do it end to end, you are able to do it, right? And like I mentioned, in this world where AI is doing a lot of things, you also want to make sure not a dinosaur on your job. What you know that AI can do, let AI do it. And then you now add your own strategic thinking, add your own context, add your own nuances, because AI doesn't work in an organization. It doesn't know the kind of examples or illustrations that your boss would like. You know that one. So let AI do the basic, and then you would now add it as the icing on the cake. So this is artificial intelligence working with your actual intelligence. So don't let your actual intelligence or your wisdom take the back burner. And if you're a Christian again, you have the Holy Spirit who would bring some things to your mind and say, oh, make it this way. Use this font, use this color. You might think those things are minute, but these are some of the things that will separate you from the others. It's for people, right? You need to, when you're working in an organization, how I want you to think of yourself. Stop thinking about yourself, oh, I'm just an employee. No, look at yourself as a business partner. Look at it, take your role as a CEO. And really, as a CEO, I'm sure you have an idea. When I say CEO, the idea thinking of great power skills, the Tony Lumelu kind of finesse. That is how you should show up, because when you begin to show up like that, something shifts, something changes about you in the way that you also present, in the way that you speak, in the way that you carry yourself. And in no time, because that transformation is also coming from your inside, you're telling yourself, oh, I'm the CEO of my desk. Even if you're a receptionist, whatever it is that you're doing, you're telling yourself, oh, I'm the CEO in this space. At least when it comes to this reception, even the CEO knows that he's not the receptionist. You know it's more than him. There's something that really strikes me is when you are the one who did tax. You understand the tax, you did it well, and then a superior person is coming to come and tell you that that thing is not correct. And now that you really need to know your task very well, have skin in the game, so that you are able to speak and present it to anybody. So see, you're saying that, oh, I don't think this thing is correct. You're able to speak with so much confidence and respect, saying that, sir, I'm not saying go and say with all due respect. We already know that when someone says with all due respect, we know what wants to follow. You're just saying, you're owning your work and say, sir, I have done this thing thoroughly and I have checked through using the checklist and all of the templates. I can assure you that this data is accurate and this is the insight that I've gleaned. Another thing I want to talk about when we're talking about leadership alignment is, as you do your task, make sure you communicate it well. I know that I've said it before. As you do your task, make sure you communicate it well in using the right words. There are some organizations where there are key things that they want to hear. They want to hear things like relevance. They want to hear things like trajectory. They want to hear things like foresight. They want to hear things like targets. You already know the word that gets your CEO, that gets your superior. That is the kind of words you want to be using. You don't just want to speak random English. You want to speak the right word because that's what is going to sell what you have done well, right? So you're not just an employee, you are a partner in this mission. You are owning it such that when they want to say this person is a cleaner, they don't just say you are a cleaner. This person is an excellent person because you are giving it your all. Like the Bible says that whatever you do it with all of your heart and all of your might. Like you're doing it so well. The only reason why you're not doing it better is because you don't know. Once you find a better way, you infuse it. Once you find a better way, you make it better. You're not just working hard. You're working in a way that it's multiplying your influence. People know that you're taking this thing seriously and you're positioning it that way. It is the way you carry. I know some people who say, oh, I am just a receptionist. No, it is the way you carry your task that people will carry it for you. Do you know that as a receptionist, if you really are thinking strategically about, okay, I'm a receptionist, how does my work translate to influence or impact in this organization? Using a quick scenario, for every organization, I know working or like logbook where when you're coming in, you write your name, you write the purpose, you write who you want to see. Do you know that as a receptionist, you can carry that logbook and look at it and glean insights from that logbook to say, okay, I can see that a lot of people are seeing weeks. What offices are in floor 8? And why are they coming to floor 8? Is there a problem? You're beginning to glean insight. And then one day they say, oh, do you have something to say? And I'm like, yes. I've noticed that a lot of people have been coming to this organization over the past 3 months. We've had over 90 people come to floor 8. And I think the customer service unit does this imply that our digital or online presence is not effective enough, or can we move this virtual? Like people will just be wondering, like, I will take you seriously. I know that this is not just a receptionist sitting and saying, oh, my job is 9 to 5. No, this is you paying attention and giving insights. I don't know if you understand what I'm talking about. Taking your job seriously. And then you can even have conversations with people coming in to begin to drill down. Okay, what exactly is the issue? And then say, oh, is this particular feature? Is this thing? Sir, I have an idea. Google it. How can we do things differently? And people will begin to see you. In fact, they will move you away from the reception because they know that you are more than a reception. You are reception because a vacancy was a cry for help, and that's where you thought that you could serve. But now you are showing greater value. They can even say, oh, maybe you should be the head of customer service. Maybe you should be the head of customer experience. Maybe you should be the client relations officer, because everybody is always, rating you well and always say, oh, that's your receptionist. She's never frowns. There's some organizations you come to, you're even afraid of the receptionist because the aura that they bring to you, they're like, are you sure we're not fighting? Are you bereaved? What's going on here? These kind of things. That is how you should do your job. You should want to be a go-to person, a subject matter expert. You want to make sure that your role, the skill sets that you have, there's some roles that you are in. Speaking to volunteering that Heritage mentioned, there are some roles that you are in. They're not using all of you. All of you is not finding full expression. And you know that you can do much more. Why not volunteer and say, go and meet the team members, say, how can I do this? How can I do that? And that's how I have transitioned. I started my career in finance, but I knew that I liked research. And so I found out, oh, there's this team called investor relations, and they're always doing research, they're always bringing out reports. And I went to meet them. I said, I really like what you do. I'm in finance, but at my spare time, I can always help you. If you have any to do with research, you can bounce it to me. And every time I do research, I was making sure I was doing research every day, and I was always forwarding it to them, even though it was not my JD. So you have to go past, oh, it's not my JD, it's not that you have, it's for yourself. And I heard lots of people say, oh, they're just using me. It is when you are used that you are useful. If you are not used, you are useless. And you don't want to be used and dumped as well. So you also want to make sure that you're staying on top of your game and you're constantly relevant, right? Solve board level problems. Try to differentiate yourself. Everybody is doing the same thing, and then you want to compete with them. There's some people that what they are doing, no matter how hard you try, you cannot be better than them at it, because that's what they are called for. It's their ability, it's their talent, is what they are trained for, is what they are called for, is what they've been gifted for, is what they've been anointed for. And then you want to focus on it when you know you have been anointed for something else, and you have that as a compliment. Why not focus on your strengths and let that speak for you, right? So you want to make sure that you're doing high-level initiatives, things that you want to volunteer for. There are things called stretch opportunities, stretch projects. In every organization, they're always looking for people who will say, in addition to what I do, I think I can do this. I think I can do more. When they are looking for volunteer teams to work on specific projects, short-term projects, is your work good enough that you'll be recommended for? Because our time is really fast spent, let me go to the next one. The third point has to do with social capital and mentorship. Who you know is also as important as what you know. And sometimes who you know is even far greater. If you watch Lara Unlimited, you would see that who you know is very key. Relationship is very powerful. Let me give an example. So I recently started managing a team, and in that team, they had already concluded some transactions before I joined the team. So when I joined the team, they realized that the negotiations were not adding up. They didn't calculate well, and so they were short of some millions. And he reached out to me to say, oh, you've taken this role now. Do you think it's something that you are able to help renegotiate this task? And that's one mindset that we need to have. Always have a can-do mindset, always have a possibility mindset, because when you believe that there's a way, as you go, the way will begin to show. Don't think of obstacles. Obstacles will always be there. Like Ryan Holiday's book, the obstacle is the way. There's always a way. Especially if you're a Christian. We remember the Israelites when they were going towards the sea, and they were like, oh my God, we've come to our end. We've come, and then the sea parted. The same thing can happen with anything that you're going through. So I said, okay, yeah, it's a conversation that I can have. And I got the contact of the person in charge, and I sent a message. Hello, this is Stella. I'm now the new manager for this, and I'd just like to speak to you about this. Let me know when it's a good time to call. And just as I was sending that message, when it was dropping, I was getting another message on my phone saying, Stella, how many things are you doing? And in my mind, I was like, what a coincidence. I'm like, did you see me? Because I was at an event where I was volunteering. So I asked the person, did you see me? The person said, no, I'm the one that you're chatting with in that other organization. And this person was my friend because it's been a long time, 12 years ago when we were in school, and we haven't really kept in touch. But during that time, it's very important for you when you treat people to treat them in a way that anytime they see you, it's memorable. Memories about, I need to add this amount. And the person just said, done. Like, it wasn't even a conversation. We just moved on and started catching up on, oh, so where have you been? How are you doing? How's your family? It wasn't even up to a 2 minute conversation. So can you see the power of relationship? Imagine I treated that colleague of mine terribly. Your guess is as good as mine, how that conversation is going to go. It's even going to be stalemate, because how am I even going to ask when I know that I treated this person so bad? So relationships, very key. You cannot undermine the power of relation, not even in this time and age. Social capital, a currency that everybody should have. Even if you're an introvert, there's a way you can keep relationship. Bless me, sorry. At this period, where your name is being mentioned is very important. So key relationships I want each and every one of us here to have. You have your advisors, people who can advise you when you need to, have mentors. Because mentorship is such a multiplier. Mentorship is like you're hacking your the legit shortcuts. I know that we always say, oh, shortcuts can cut you short, but with mentorship, This is you hacking your growth, because the way that you're going to, somebody has gone there before, somebody has made the mistake, somebody has gotten these cars, somebody is now a star, somebody is now winning, and then you want to get into that place and you want to suffer again, you want to go through, you want to pay the price. Why? Just like we're enjoying Jesus, using the example of Jesus is like our mentor. He died for us. He paid all the price. So nobody has to die again, because if you die, your death is in vain. Your blood is wasted. Jesus has already died, and that's fine for the finished works. We are now joint heirs. The same thing with mentorship. See it in that way. It's a force multiplier. Things that you'd have been researching about, things you've been finding out about. Why not ask a mentor? 5 minutes with a mentor can liberate you and, make everything clear. For those of us interested in global opportunities, the minutes that we've spent with Heritage, you already know how your life has changed. Listening to Grit from Jumoke, you already know that take home. And this is because somebody has brought that information, right? Somebody has made it. She has laid the foundation, and then she's just building easily, right? If you're even going to make fresh mistakes. Don't make mistakes that can be avoidable. Please excuse me. Don't make mistakes that can be avoidable. Don't pay the price again. Don't waste time. Don't waste energy. Don't waste resources, because resources are infinite. So you really don't want to make all of this. So there are different types of mentorships that we can have. For some of us, we have proximity mentorship. So it means that you have direct access to the person. And social media has become such a leveler where you can write, you can do a cold call to say, oh, I'd like you to mentor me and all of that. But besides that as well, you don't really, so I know some people are always looking for big names. You want to call a name, everybody be like, oh, wow, that is your mentor. Please, you're immediate people. If you're in the workplace, if you're in banking and you're a banking officer, come and be your mentor. Don't start looking for MD, ED. If you have that, great, super fantastic, but still start from somewhere, right? So who knows you is very, very important. So you have proximity mentors, or they give you feedback, they're there to always help you. They help you navigate nuances and all of that. Aspirational mentors, people that you see from afar and say, oh, I really like this person. I like Leila Mozi. I want to be like Leila. I like how she speaks. I like her confidence. I like how she manages her businesses. Whatever it is that you admire about her. Oh, I like Pastor Mimi Lazarus. Anybody, they might still be far away, but keep following. That opportunity will come, and then when you are prepared, fantastic for you. And because it helps you to think bigger, it helps you think broader. You're also studying their paths. I remember when I wanted to move into a certain career path, and one of the things I did was I went to LinkedIn and I went to look at everybody who was doing or who is doing what I wanted to do. I looked at the qualifications that they had, the the certifications that they had, places that they've been, and I just started doing the same thing. I just started taking the same step, and now I am there today, and now I'm aspiring for more. And so I already had a template. So why not just copy and paste it? But of course, you're going to add your own nuances to it. It's going to be different. And then it's also good to have per circle mentors, people we can be accountable. For example, I can reach out to Jumoke if I need anything related to things like in our area of strength. I really liked how when she was presenting, how her Zoom image and everything was. After this call, I'm saying I'm going to reach out to her to say, I really like all of those things. How can I do it? So you have your peers that you can learn from, people who have different exposure and experiences from you, just like Heritage has also shared with us, right? So this is you being intentional. How can you build your social capital? Join associations, join communities. If you are a professional, look for communities that has to do with professionals in your field. In HR, you're an accountant, you're a marketer, you're a PR person. Look for gatherings, volunteer, look for events, sign up, join, do so many things. Very, very, very important. Now, something that we're going to share now is like a playbook that you can adopt, or like a playbook that you can practice, which is very, very important. It's in the slide, so I'm sure that they will definitely if we know about startup and all that, there's this power pose. When you see all the CEOs, there's a way they stand, there's a way they dress, and you just know this is the power pose. The same thing. What is your pose? How are you walking into your office? When you're walking into your office, are you walking into your office like this? Your posture of the energy. When you're walking like this, you're slouching, you're bent, you're already giving defeated, you're already giving downcasted, you're already giving look. The energy, everybody's already worried, like, what's going on again? Come me joyful. Recently watching a video about, knowing about your shoulder level, and the way they said it is how your shoulders, just take it up and drop it. Where it drops, that is where your shoulder should be, not down, not slouching. Your posture is very, very key. So you want to know how are you, because it also changes how people will perceive you. And always dress nice. Like, I can that. It's nice, so that when there's an emergency meeting, there's an outing, there's a representation, there's a delegate, because you always come correct. So dress nice, dress neat, right? Wear clothes that fit your body type. Understand your body type and wear what fits you. Don't wear what is raining, because what is raining might not be what's your own brand language. There are some things that I cannot be caught wearing, not because they're not nice, because it's not acceptable. But that's not me. That's not how I want to be portrayed. There are some people, when we call their names, you already know what they're going to be wearing. For example, when we say Debola Lagos, everybody already knows that you are going to see him in white agbada and red cap. Like, you cannot see him in another thing. Like, even wedding photo shoot, it was still white. Even it was not. So what are you known for? What is your executive presence? I have an auntie that every time we go to our office, we always know if she's around or not. Why? They always say, oh, Amina was here, because she has a signature perfume. It might not be yours, but find what works for you. In school, they knew that you can never catch me on flats. Flats as how? Like, I don't do flats, because you wear flats, there's a way you walk. And when you wear heels, there's a way you walk. So you say, oh, I don't know how to wear heels. I did not know how to wear heels from my mother's womb. So I learned. You can learn it. Make the effort, right? Invest in good hairs. Yeah. Invest in good hairs. It doesn't have to be play, but invest in quality. And for those of you who don't speak in meetings, make sure that tomorrow, now we're starting a new week. You're going to be in that meeting. You're going to speak and you're going to make sense. Because you already know, you have been attending these meetings, and you know that it's a feedback meeting. So what is that insight that you're going to share? Look through the news, what has been announced, what has been said about your industry, how is AI disrupting your industry? And when they say, oh, any other business, you're able to impact our business, we need to pay attention to it. Even you'll be shocked yourself. I need you to shock yourself. Starting from tomorrow, this week, volunteer for something. When they're always saying, who will do this? And everybody is running away. It should not be you. Take on that. But again, the balance, something that aligns with the broader vision of the organization. They will really pay attention to you. Be visible, right? Teach somebody something. That's another way. Let people talk about you in the right rooms. Like during appraisals, I don't know, some organizations, they are 360-degree appraisals. As your bosses are appraising you, your junior colleagues are also appraising you. And sometimes they come and ask, oh, what do you think about this person? What would be said about you? Teach somebody, and that's how you reinforce something that you know. Take on somebody. The person did not come and meet you and say, "Will be my mentor," but you want to start practicing unification, another level from implementation. Okay, I would always teach you this. Oh, you are new. I would help you achieve this. I will help you know this. Right? Take that upon yourself. Pitch yourself. Have your mentor. Don't wait for them to give you power. Leadership is not a title thing. I don't know if you've seen this book about by I think the leader without a title. You can't, there's a way have you not, maybe it's just kind of environment I found myself. I found myself in an environment where they just think you are the leader because you're just taking initiative and you're not waiting to be micromanaged, you're not waiting to be told, you are just doing it because this is what we want to achieve. So to achieve this is X, Y, Z. And one of the prayers that I would, pray for all of us here is that we have a boss who recognizes our gifts and helps us to come higher. A boss who is not intimidated, a boss insecure, or a to let you shine, but also shine, right? And you should also be that kind of be insecure. So you need to make intentional choices. And again, as women, as we get to these levels of positioning, don't shut the door behind you. Leave the door open, because the reason why you're coming in is because somebody opened that door for you. So please don't shut the door. You want to be a high-level leader, look for a high-level leader and follow. So in summary, visibility is key, alignment is key, mentorship is key. This is how you get the platform. No, create that platform for yourself. Oh, you're waiting for somebody to come and meet you to mentor them. No, pick them and begin to teach them. And I hope you points I have been able to at least bring you up to a new knowing, right? To know that you don't hijack power. It's not a coup. You have to steward it. You have to steer it, and you have to position yourself. When they're saying, "Oh, we," again, if you're in the workplace, something that I should say is that promotion doesn't come to you because you have stayed long on your position to say, "Oh, I've been in this organization, I've been in this position for 2 years, so I should be promoted." No, that's not what promotion is for. Promotion to you because you have shown that you can take on the job of the next level. So wherever you are now, I need you to start thinking of how you're going to start showing up tomorrow to say, I'm this level now. The next level after this level is this. And because this is that level, you want to ask that person, what are your KPIs? What are your deliverables? And start acting it now. So that when it comes, it's just natural. It just sinks there because you have been acting it out already. You have been dressing like it already. You're already prepared. So it's just a convergence. Like it just works. Even if they don't give you that level, when a senior person sees you, the person is like, you must be a manager. And you're like, no, I'm a this. And the person is like, no, 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 no. Something is wrong. There's a mismatch. So please grow your confidence, grow your visibility, show up well, execute with clarity. Um, I shared a checklist with us that would also be sent to us as a gift, where you can begin to ask yourself, where have I been silent? Why am I silent? Why am I not visible? Am I busy or am I aligned? You want to be aligned. You don't want to be doing the things that anybody can do. You want to do specific work. Sometimes you can walk up to your boss, walk up to your leader and ask your leader, sir, what is your goal for this period? Like, what is priority? What your heartbeat for this season? And your boss will tell you, these are the 2 things that are really bothering me that I'd like us to achieve in this quarter. And take one of them and maybe take another subordinate and just say, this is our focus. This is what we are working on. Don't just be doing any tasks. Let your appraisal, let it be solid. You don't just want to be, let's move the needle. You want to make sure. So you, my sisters on this call, and if you have a brother on this call, you're not waiting to be chosen, right? You're choosing yourself and you're choosing to lead and you are showing up strong and championing your new seasons. So I want to say congratulations, congratulations, and welcome to the top. And thank you so much, Jumoke, and thank you so much to everyone who has listened. We'll be happy to take. Thank you.
Lessons, the nuggets that you have been sharing, so powerful, so impactful, so transformative, so practical. Thank you so much for such a powerful, powerful session. I am so grateful. I'm sure everyone here in the meeting has just been taking a lot of notes, writing so many things down, actionable steps So grateful. Thank you, Stella, for sharing and pouring out your heart. Thank you so much. I really did not want you to stop. Honestly, thank you for all those wise words that you
Yeah.
have shared. Some things that you mentioned that really stood out for me is how that competence can impact on your confidence. And I feel that's one of the bedrock of what you've shared today, because all the tips you gave about visibility, about strategy, about making sure that, wow, you said silence is not humility. Sometimes silence would lead to obscurity. Powerful, powerful, powerful. Thank you so much for making our time to be with us this evening. Before you go, Stella, there's a question I would love for you to address. Before you go, someone dropped a question. Please, Ma, how do you deal with working in an organization that doesn't appreciate initiative, more like micromanaging? I'll just love for you to speak to that very quickly in a minute or two.
So yeah, it's such a beautiful question, and it's some of the things that we see. And the truth is, some people are actually they just start out as micromanagers. It's people that taught them. There are people that you always have to follow up with when you're in the workplace. But how I think that you should see it is, I need you to reframe that, because, like I mentioned, every organization would always have a goal, a target, right? So how I believe that you should see it is, before when you have a boss that micromanages, before they micromanage you, you over communicate. Like, because what they are micromanaging you for is to ensure, are you doing it? I gave you this task. Are you doing it? Are you doing that? I had a boss who was always micromanaging. Like, every time she was always asking. And what I just tried to clarify was my deliverables or how I'm
Ooh.
faring on this task. You want me to do it every hour? You want me to do 3 hours? Because you have to be
Hmm.
clear about that. Because where I'm coming from, they give you a task and they just expect that you deliver when it's done. So I've never had any to start communicating. But right now, because of the new kind of boss, that's why you have to understand the smell of the room, understand the organization you find yourself, and speak that language. If not,
Hmm.
you look like you are not culture fit, and that's not it. It's just that you have not understood the dynamics, and that's why when you come into a new organization, or the first 90 days, that first 90
Hmm.
days is a place of action. You are understanding, okay, what are the things they really appreciate in this organization? Is it
Hmm.
that they appreciate high service? Is it that they appreciate diligent work? Who are the stakeholders here? Who are the people that should have visibility
Hmm.
into my work? You want to understand those dynamics. You want to be learning. You want to be, sorry about that. You want to understand all of these workings, and
Hmm.
that's way to help. When you are in a managed environment, just over communicate and overshare. Let me the one to say, it's too much. Are you okay? So you just send an
Hmm.
email. Good morning, ma'am. Because how I really feel bad when I see emails and it's worded in a way like I'm not doing my task or I'm not on top of my game, right? I want to show that I'm on top of my game. So in the
Hmm.
more feedback meeting, things you're working on, oh, I'm
Yeah.
working on, state it there so that they know.
Hmm.
So you want don't it can be dampening and knowing, ensure that you are in sync, except you want
Hmm.
to move out of that organization. If you think that it's because there are some times where you actually might now need a way, depending on, we don't have the full context. But in the meantime, how you can manage it is by over communicating or oversharing. If you have a team, maybe team WhatsApp group or team Slack channel, whatever, you just want to be giving like stand up every 2 hours, 3 hours, that kind of thing. So I really do hope that this helps.
Hmm. Hmm.
Right.
So powerful.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Stella. Thank you so much, Stella. That was so apt. That was spot on. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for, just pouring out your heart to us and not holding anything back. I am sure that whoever asked that question has gotten clarity and, an answer that is a tool for them to run with. I cannot thank you enough, Stella. My heart is so glad about all that you have shared today. Many answers to so many questions I'm sure a lot of women came to this webinar with. And I'm just so glad that this webinar is an answer to so many questions that I know some persons have. And I'm also grateful to Heritage Somilawa for sharing. This session is still going to be up here. However, to get the real deal, I promised her at the start of the webinar that I have a gift for us. If you'd love to be a part of the Empower Her community, the link is going to be attached and pinned. You can, and that leads you straight to the community, right? We want to have a fuller family of empowered women. So if you'd love to join us, because we'll be having a lot more of conversations like this. And if you've been fired up and you just don't want to stay fired up, you want to run with it, you want to get all the insights, and you want to make good with everything that you've learned that will lead to execution, because transformation starts with intention. So everything that you have decided to do going forward, Heritage shared with us. She literally opened our eyes to how to position for global opportunities. I started off the session showing us the power of grit. If you want a community, and I talked about how one of the ways to stay inspired is to surround yourself with people that fuel your motivation, that fuel you to keep running on your path and in your space. Empower Her is that community. Please join with the link attached and pinned right now if you're on YouTube. So if you are currently on Zoom, just make just take a step forward and go to YouTube. Click on that link in the that is pinned right now on YouTube at Jumoke Afola. If you're watching and joining the webinar from Zoom, please go to YouTube, click on that link, and you'll be a part of the Empower Her community. I'm so grateful for all our facilitators, and I am so grateful to you who are stayed till the end. I mean, this session has been very lengthy but just as impactful, and I'm so proud of you. So if you've been here from the beginning, I had to make us I had to I had to inspire some of us to make me the promise that you're going to stay till the end. And if you're here right now, you went all out. You went all out. So you see why I told you to grab a tall glass of water or juice or coffee. I am so proud of you. Thank you for joining. It's going to be the beginning of a very exciting journey, especially if you decide to join the Empower Her community. We're a community of Pan-African women who access global opportunities and get resources that help us scale our influence. So you love to be a part of us. You love to. Heritage talked about automating a system where you always get opportunities. We share global opportunities on this community, and you also have access to meetings and webinars and master classes such as this, so you don't want to miss out. There are many in-house conversations that happen that are not put out like this one. And if you love what you've heard, you loved how this webinar has made you feel and what the kind of resolutions you are making after this, imagine having this on a daily basis, right? That's what that community will do for you. So don't hesitate. I know we have some men who attended the webinar. Yes, that is you're totally welcome, but the community is just for women. So please share with your friend, your sister, your colleague at work, and the woman that you love and that you love to see shine. My name is Jumoke Afolari. I am so grateful that you joined me this beautiful evening. I look forward to us having another rich conversation soon, particularly for those of us that would join that community. So don't wait, don't hesitate. You need it. I'm sure that you need it. And do well to also share with a woman that you love to see rise. Thank you all. Till we have another impactful webinar. Do have a great time.